Today we are reviewing Hungry for History Trivia, Virginia Studies, Level 4. Please make sure that you have your notebook open, your folder open, or your set of Hungry for History Level 4 cards in order, ready to review. Let's begin. When it's time to turn the page, if you are using your notebook or your folder, you will hear this sound. The first card says, the arrival of supply ships was one change that resulted in the survival of the settlers. Card number 2. Who led the Jamestown settlement with strong leadership? Captain John Smith, of course. Number 3. The emphasis on agriculture was another change that resulted in the survival of the settlers. Number 4. Name 3 changes that took place that resulted in the survival of the settlers. 1. Arrival of supply ships. 2. Forced work program and strong leadership of Captain John Smith. And 3. An emphasis on agriculture. Agriculture. That's a big word for things that are grown. Number 5. Who initiated trading relationships with the native people? Captain John Smith. Number 6. The native people traded mainly food with the English in exchange for tools, pots, and copper for jewelry. Number 7. Who contributed to the survival of the Jamestown settlers in many ways? The native people. We used to refer to the native people as Indians. This is a vocab word you might recognize, but that word has become offensive to many Native Americans. So the word Indian and the word Native American mean the same thing. Number 8, Powhatan, chief of many tribes, provided leadership to his people and taught the settlers survival skills. Card number 9. Who served as a contact between the native people and the English? Pocahontas. Next page. Card number 10. The native people traded mainly food with the English in exchange for tools, pots, and copper for jewelry. Number 11. The native people showed the settlers how to plant new crops. Name 2 of these crops. 1 is corn and 1 is tobacco. Number 12. Who was Pocahontas' daughter? Who was Powhatan's daughter? Answer is Pocahontas. Number 13. Over time, the native people realized the English settlement would continue to grow. Number 14. The native people came to see the settlers as invaders who would take over the land. Number 15. The success of tobacco as a cash crop transformed life in the Virginia colony and encouraged what? Slavery. Number 16. What is a cash crop? What is a crop that is grown to sell for money rather than use by the growers? A cash crop. So it's a way for them to generate income or money like we do at our jobs today. Number 17. The economy of the Virginia colony depended on what as the primary source of wealth? Agriculture. Number 18. What became the most profitable agricultural product? Tobacco. Number 19. Tobacco was sold in England as a cash crop. Number 20. The successful civil cultivation of tobacco depended on a steady and inexpensive source of labor. 21. Who were brought to Virginia colony and enslaved to work on the plantations? African men, women, and children. Number 22. What did the Virginia colony become dependent upon? The dependence lasted a long time. Slave labor. 23. Whenever people settled an area, they changed the culture and the landscape to reflect their own beliefs, customs, and agriculture. Number 24. Name 3 examples of agriculture that reflect different cultures. 1 would be barns, a second, homes, and a third, churches or places of worship. 25. The name Richmond reflects which culture? And the answer is English. 26. The name Roanoke reflects which culture? American Indian. Number 27. In which 2 regions did the English and other Europeans primarily settle in? The first is coastal plains, Tidewater, and the second, Piedmont. Number 28. The German and Scottish settled primarily where in Virginia? This place was along the migration route, the Shenandoah Valley. Number 29. In which 2 regions did the Africans primarily settle in? Tobacco agriculture in these regions required a great deal of labor. Number 1, coastal plains, Tidewater, and number 2, Piedmont. Take note that number 27 and 29 have the same answer. So when talking about this Virginia Studies cards, those are your most common regions. Number 30. The culture of colonial Virginia reflected the beliefs, customs, and agriculture of what 3 groups of people that were living there? 1, Europeans, 2, Africans, 3, American Indians. 31. What caused people to adapt old customs to their new environment? Migration and living in new areas. 32. Although it was a colony of England, Virginia developed as a unique culture, different from that of England. And last, number 33. Prior to the arrival of the settlers, American Indians lived throughout Virginia. After the settlers arrived, most were forced inland. That concludes or ends our set of Hungry for History, set number 4, Virginia Studies Practice.